Hello. This is kind of an impromptu type thing, and you probably all have talked to me at my booth. So I'm going to make this really quick on what I'm doing, and then probably just ask you what kind of questions you have, because this anti-aging field is so vast. There's so many aspects of it, and I've been involved in some of the medical and a lot of the entrepreneurial hoopla that's hit the last few years. It's been kind of fun, actually, to see the incredible rise in popularity because of this, the Rudman Act, which was everybody was kind of running off of. First of all, I'll get back to the entrepreneur thing. As you can see, well, my name's gone. Grenier. I'm a French person, so I'm a lover of life. I'm not here to impress anybody, but I like having a lot of fun. I am a musician, and that's what led me down here. I like to feel as good as I can. I have a beautiful young wife and a 5-year-old son that I need to chase around, so I need all the energy I can get. So we started this, I'll tell you briefly, I started with James Jameson a number of years ago, working on a product called Pro-HGH, which is an effervescent delivery system. And when it first came out, it was revolutionary to precursor something like insulin-like growth factor, as we didn't know, where that would lead. There were so many taboos with it because of the actual research led down a negative path, actually. So as this came out, we were getting such incredible responses with this on an entrepreneurial level and on a medical level. Had to figure out which one was which, if it was just a placebo effect or what. So using in the preparation we had in the beginning had some a broad bean. It was called the Vicea major. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it stimulates the hypothalamus and pituitary gland to get your body to secrete more human growth hormone factor. And with this kind of responses, we were getting people calling us back on the phone saying, "Hey, my beard used to be like all white, and it's kind of getting dark again." And I'm like, wow, that's pretty intense, and people just having a lot more energy, and I could hear it on the telephone, these people. I was very excited. And along with these great discoveries comes a lot of, on the entrepreneur side, everybody tries to, let's say, jump on the bandwagon, make their own product, and knock off the product, as they say in the business. So, very, very shortly after that, there were many, and there are now, as you're probably well aware, many secretagogues that are basically formulated to help you secrete more IGF-1. So, and one of the reasons for that I had, because, and again, being of French descent, we're very interested in taking care of the elderly in our family. And after my grandparents going through the old age home, whatever you want to call it, experience was not very good. I personally wanted to get cases of this newfound stuff and just drop it off everywhere and say, "Hey, check this out, you guys, take this and come on out." And I'm still kind of working at that, because if I find it, I'm going to do it, actually. But there's an interesting picture here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Place picture here and push button. Does anybody know what button this is I push? Oh, there it is. Look at this. You guys, did you ever see this gentleman before? On the picture here, this man is 78 years old. He made me feel bad when I seen that picture. I'm 49 going, God, I thought, well, get out of here. And, if you work at it, that's some of the things that can happen, at this time. It's an incredible age right now. There's so much information. Every day I wake up, I have people calling me that just astound me with incredible information, and you never know what's going to become of it, but it's just an incredible time. And these kind of things, hopefully we'll all look like that when we're 78, right? Well, interesting enough, if you read this article in here, and I'll have it at the booth, but the first thing this gentleman said, as in the book when I opened it, it says his utmost thing was to keep love in his heart. And that's all I had to read. I didn't read the whole article. I didn't do the whole thing. I said, man, this guy's like right there. That's where I want to be. And on this other page here, things that go along with that. Now, of course, let me find this area here. Of course, all you married guys like me, we wouldn't want to be in this position. It might get us in trouble or something, but you know, to live a very strong, happy, and vigorous life is, I think, what we're all after. Not just getting old, you know. It's like, it has a whole, you know, as you can see, I was just going to bring that up. That's the other French part of myself, the you know, the libido aspect of that. And did I just blow yourself here? I don't need this. Very good. So this is kind of like what I'm searching after too, with all these new products. And we had things like that happen when we first had the Pro HGH way back when. People used to call up and say, you know, this stuff is really good, but I'm having a hard time sleeping now. I'm like, what do you mean you can't sleep? He goes, no, I'm just kind of frisky. I've been chasing my wife around the room, and she's like wondering what the hell's going on. It's like, and it is. I mean, libido is part of the aging process. You lose that, and you know something's going on. And so, you know, to reverse that, of course, usually the first thing that happens is this starts working again. And it's great. I mean, you know, that's wonderful. Here's a little, here's some real science behind what's going on here. If you can, if I can get that between. Oh, you're the guy that pushes the button. That's fine. Boy, that's a cool button. And you have to get near it. So anyway, I worked with, since then, we've worked with Dr. Richard Marsh. He's from England. He's a really neat individual. He's a real person. Has very, very, many degrees. A naturopath, and we took some amino acids, and we use a Mucuna purinase as a broad bean for stimulus. It's an L-DOPA stimulus, actually. And we have that in our product that we have at the booth. Now, I have not really I don't formulate products. I'm an entrepreneur. So it benefits me to have something that really works. And so these things that, you know, take these in a month and come back and see me, it doesn't work in my society. It doesn't work out here in the world because I need to perform today. So these are the kind of products I look for. And the kind of products, of course, I think are very financially a good prospect to use. So these things that I had, the Vicea Fab Major, the reason why we use this, if you look this up on the web, by the way, if I'm talking too fast, I apologize, but there's a lot to say. The first thing that Dr. Ronald Klatt said when I met him, and I totally agree with this, is that each one of you people, if you choose to go on an anti-aging path or do this kind of therapy, is self-knowledge and self-education. We all have different metabolisms. We're all as different as our fingerprints, and what might work for me may not work for you. I have no idea, but I'm not going to tell you that this is great for you, and it might not be. So it's self-education. Taking something that doesn't make you feel good is not anti-aging, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So the self-education, and there's so much information on the web that's so readily available. It's like people should just do that. Just go out there and seek out what you're looking for and get it, because it's there. It's there in abundance, actually. And of course, all you people probably know that here, being in this kind of conference and being open enough to be here. So we put these products together. I have some products over there that are focused on the feel-good aspect of life, naturally. And all of our products are made with that in mind. A natural product with no carcinogens, things that will make you feel good but actually make you feel good and healthy using your own system, opposed to using human growth hormone, an actual hormone. Most of the secretagogues out there, being secretagogue means that we try to raise your hormonal level using the endocrine system of the body, putting everything in line to help promote the growth of these certain IGF-1s and human growth factor and things like that. So with that, I'm going to say that there's many products. I have information on all of them, and if you have questions on them or questions in this area, what I'd like to do is just, now that you know where I'm coming from, we'll kind of open it to you and see where you want me to go with this, because it's huge. So with that, does anybody have any direction, any questions?
The HGA precursor products you're referring to,
Mm-hmm.
how does that work in conjunction with
DHEA is a hormone. Hormones, like if I was to take DHEA, I would take pregnenolone, which is a precursor to DHEA, especially for men. There's a few reasons for that, but you know, insulin-like growth factor affects all of the hormonal system, and it enhances it by having cellular reproduction, enhancing cellular reproduction. Okay, it just helps all around. So your DHEA levels would raise eventually. If you are on medication, if you're on these precursors, you want to get checked for levels, okay? Because your levels are going to change when these things start being promoted in the body. So it does promote HGH, testosterone, estrogen, the whole thing. So it does affect DHEA in that respect.
Do they work together, or is it either or?
Depending on your individual needs. If your DHEA levels are real low, and you've been on like a precursor for like a secretagogue for enough time for this to work in your body, let's say a week or so, you go get your levels tested again. If your levels are still low, then yes, by all means, add DHEA to your regime. Sure.
Is this, would you, you were saying it promotes cellular growth. What if you have things that you're unaware of in your body that you don't want those cells to grow? In other words, a tumor or things like this?
There was a lot of, you know, the same kind of precautions. When we were first dealing with DHEA, nobody knew what that was. The prostate cancer thing came out. Now, I think that, I don't know if that was the FDA putting the brakes on this newfound hormonal therapy for men, because you know, estrogen for women have been used for quite some time. I felt in my heart, and I still feel like that was like a scare tactic to get everybody to stop and watch what they were doing. And two, it was to get people to self-educate. That's where I bring this point back again. Self-education is very important, because high levels of DHEA can produce a problem in this area, because you're dealing with one thing. If you were to, like 25 milligrams of DHEA is probably a good thing to do if you have prostate cancer. I'm not sure, I'm not an MD, I'm not going to tell you that, but I've heard through Dr. Stravinsky some doctors that actually say that that's a good thing. So in saying that, the only reason why I said that is because sometimes I guess the FDA or people in that area need to put the brakes on. Okay, saying that if you're growing everything in the body, sure. If you have cancerous cells in your body, you take human growth hormone. Is that going to make my cancer grow like crazy, like oxygen? Is that going to make my cancer grow? Recently, what I found up to now is that there's more good that's being done to the body by doing these kind of therapies, even though it is common sense, a growth hormone. There's so much good that is being done to the body that actually does not promote cancer. It actually is the opposite.
Helps the rest of the body
fight it off in many different areas.
It's interesting that you're bringing up and everybody's talking about the DHEA. As I understand, one of the, either the flags or they're thinking possibly one of the causes is this, it's di-testosterone or something with a D in front of it.
Right.
That apparently the body's natural testosterone degrades to, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. And it promotes the condition that we were speaking of, the prostate cancer. So that
your products, yeah. In other words, it causes the precondition, shall we say, or precursor.
From what I gather, if you look at a graph, and there may be some doctors in here that can elaborate on it a little bit further, but if you look at a tree, and as things come down, there's, you know, like I said before, pregnenolone is a good way to get DHEA, because it's a precursor to all the said, hormonal system. So the whole hormonal system will be enhanced by taking this. Plus, it goes right to the brain. It's good for brain food.
Okay. Have you done any studies or anything to find out whether or not your products do they work? In other words, if your body's, however the dimethyl testosterone or whatever it's called, I can't remember what it's called with the D part of it, the negative testosterone, does your enhancers or augmenters then just allow the body to continue making more of this negative type, or have you know?
There's a big difference between, here again, we get back to secretagogue. A secretagogue is something that will actually, you can use the word trick, give the body signals to produce certain things, okay? Your body is producing these things. It's not like taking DHEA. DHEA is a hormone. It's a synthetic hormone in a little capsule. You're putting a synthetic hormone in your body. This triggers all kinds of things in your body. Levels go up, from what I'm told, and I may be incorrect on this, but the last graph I seen, if you take 25 milligrams of DHEA, that level is only in your system for about 20 minutes. So you get this spiking effect. You know, your kidneys, the rest of your body is there to filter out and to balance out these hormonal levels when they get too high. So, you know, all of a sudden you're getting signals. We got 25 milligrams of DHEA here that's going to either go to testosterone or something that is going to be metabolized, and then it's gone. So, you know, it's really tricky like that. The same thing with the human growth hormone injections that are available. This is a synthetic hormone, but it's injectable. In the beginning, they were giving like 1-2 injections a day. Now the basically is less of an amount, the less of a cc, and more often, to keep a balanced state in the body, because I mean it's in and gone like real rapidly. So your question, to answer your question, is a secretagogue will help you naturally raise these hormonal levels. Okay, that's what the whole secretagogue process is, an analog to something in your body, opposed to taking a hormone. You understand what I'm saying there?
Well, of course. I mean, I see it's coming in, and it's sort of like a multi-fat or a spherical effect on all of it. Hopefully you bring your body into balance or equilibrium by it. What they're doing is making the organs themselves work in concert. And my question was a little technical of if your body is producing the negative testosterone, the one I guess it's sort of a flagger signal. Will it help then switch it back over to the regular good testosterone, or will just the rest of the function of the organs help bring the whole imbalanced state into place?
I would say if you're raising your levels naturally, a la exercise, good eating, healthy living habits, these things are a lot less apt to produce. There is a Taoist procedure called the deer exercise, which actually helps promote testosterone by an exercise. It's an actual exercise. So if you're using a natural way to do, if you're you know running and you're feeling better, you're raising your testosterone levels and everything, that's not going to produce the same thing as taking a precursor or something to trick your body into creating a whole bunch of testosterone. That's when the levels get out of balance. And yes, it does. Anything that will do unnaturally, like the, what was that McGuire was taking there? Yeah, there's a new product out that just specifically goes right to the testosterone. It gives you a whole bunch of, you know, great energy. It's almost like on the very edge of a cusp of being a steroid.
Supposedly that's what the Chinese athletes had to take. I researched that before it came out, and I took it once and definitely felt stronger just after taking that.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of things. Chinese people have been doing the most interesting things, you know, like salts out of urine, you know, pulling hormones out of urine and using them as aphrodisiacs. I mean, it's been like long time ago. They had no idea. We didn't know what the hell was going on, but, you know, there's deer antler, there's the good ginseng that you just about can't buy around here. You have to go to Korea or something to get, you know, and all these neat things we're finding out through a lot of research now that we're able to communicate with each other through web, and people like us now can be involved in this wonderful, new, exciting thing, you know. So we don't have to have a whole company behind us or a school or a certain, you know, we can actually do this. That's what's incredible here. This is just phenomenal. And people have, you know, they get an idea and they'll run with it, and good things come out of that usually. It's really cool. So, you know, there's one thing that I can say, I don't know if any of you people are familiar with, but there's a new classification coming from the FDA that I got the other day. It's called a food drug. And scared the hell out of me I mean, what is a food drug? Coffee? You know, bananas and aspirin or something? I don't know. You know, it's a food drug. And what I heard is it's a way to get people back into, because there's so many people have been pulled away from the medical, the MD doctor. They're getting so scared that they, you know, have to find it, let's get a route to get these people back here. Well, now, to get certain things that create nitric oxide in the body, okay? That's, everybody knows Viagra. Nitric oxide is Viagra, not nitrous, not when you go to the dentist, nitric. Nitric oxide the levels can be raised very easily in the body by taking certain amino acids. But now that we do that, now that we know that, the FDA steps in and says, hey, you can't do that. You can't sell this bottle for $8. We're selling Viagra for 15 over here, you know? And now it's a food, it's called a food medicine. And food medicines can only be distributed by, quote unquote, MDs, ODs, people with medical degrees, and not naturopaths, not acupuncturists, not chiropractors. Well, it's gone true as far as the paperwork I have. With the products I have, I'm not allowed to sell things to certain people. And it puts, you know, me as an entrepreneur in a precarious position of what do I do here? And who's going to follow me? Right now it's kind of nebulous, but who's going to come into my house and follow all these invoices and whatever, so on and so forth, and not just me, but the general public. But this system is well in place, and it is going forward. And I do believe that this is going to bring that kind of thing back where they want it to be, or whoever they are. Anybody know who they are?
The World Health Organization bureaucrats.
There's one. New World Order. You don't know who they are? My son thinks they're Mighty Ducks. It's probably right, too.
So let's hear your approach to anti-aging. What do you do?
I chase my wife around as much as I can. And I left my guitar home, so I can't really tell you. But actually, I'm like I said, my approach is I really am a lover of life. I try to find as much happiness and beauty as I can in this world. Being as I'm now, I seem to be up against the huge computer, wherever that computer is. The other day, I received bills in the mail from UPS because I had misspelled Cypress Street. I didn't spell it right. They sent me a $5 bill per word now. I mean, get out of Dodge, man. I mean, how much can we give? I mean, how perfect can we be here? You know what I mean? I mean, he's got to be in the perfect, well, he's not going to school, by the way. That's a whole other conversation. But you know, you have to have the best phone carrier. You know, everybody's like, it's a big thing. Oh, did you hear about yada, yada, yada? You know, rates are great. You know, and don't you have that yet? Or, you know, or what kind of 401k do you have? Or, you know, in every aspect of our lives. I mean, we are not allowed to be, you know, we're not allowed to age, I don't think. You know, I don't see that out there. I don't see people respecting the aging process or giving respect to those who show that. I don't see that. Maybe I'm in the wrong state, or I don't know, but I haven't seen it lately. If you get to be a certain kind, if you're a bad machine, out of the way. You don't get up at 4 and be, you're not in the health spa, you're not Gold's Gym, raising them serotonin, dopamine, GHB, testosterone levels, get out of here. You're not motivated enough. You know, next promotion, yeah. So, I mean, you know, there used to be, being I'm 49, I mean, in the 50s, I knew people that were very well educated. Wonderful human beings. Loved them dearly, still love them. They were respected in my neighborhood, in my community. But I don't see that anymore. You need to have something behind your name, or something somewhere, or some kind of way to stand out, you know, instead of just being good. So that's where I'm coming from. That's what I see. And there's not enough, you know, when we have the only thing we have to relax with is TGIF or something on Friday night, you know, right over there. Man, give me two now, you know, and we all know here what alcohol does to the body, but it's all we have. It's all it's around. So, and you can never get into a conversation, by the way, if you get anywhere near a hospital or medical, any kind of medical situation, you say alcohol and the conversation's over. I don't care what you're comparing it to, it's over. So there's a lot of things, a lot of big money involved. Of course, we're all, so the miracles and the wonderful thing, I got a call the other day. This gentleman said, I got a cure. I said, whoa, you can't say that word on the phone even. You'll get tapped. I mean, somebody's listening to us. And he said, yeah, I got this gene thing for stage 2 asthma. Inhaler. Stops the whole thing, No big hospital thing, no big thing. Emphysema would probably fall in the same category. Emphysema is kind of like going towards the nitrous oxide, the oxygenating the blood and rebuilding the walls and things like that. There is so many wonderful things going on right now in emphysema in every aspect that, I'm very, very, very excited right now. No matter what anybody has, there's something there. You can do something alternatively for yourself, by yourself. And that's great to me. Just give me an opening, I'm gone, man. I'm right there.
So what do you take besides your...
Should I shut this mic off? What I take is I take certain amino acids. I take things that actually keep me in good spirits. They're let me say derivatives of arginine, metabolites of. And if have any of you looked at arginine and amino acid, how many things you can do with that? It's incredible. It's just incredible. Just arginine alone, but the whole gamut of amino acids are then just phenomenal. You could spend, it's like a black hole. You can get Maxwell's equation right in there, and there's so many things. And I guess the paradigm now is, do we spend time doing this, and who's going to take care of the people that are sick right now? That's what I get when you say to people, my God, I'm talking to Bernie Siegel, great man. I don't know if anybody know him. Great man. He shaved his hair off because he's a cancer surgeon, and he shaved all his hair off because his patients were losing their hair, and he didn't want to make them feel bad. And when he first started, he was telling me that. Actually, this is a wonderful little story he told me. I'll share it with you. This is in Love, Peace, and Healing. He put that in his book. And he had a patient that he did not tell this person that his body was full of cancer and he was terminal. And he didn't do this. And the guy was responding really well. And one day, he went to, he said, I went home, I came back, and all of a sudden this man had died. And he's like, man, this guy was like in remission. Everything was cool. His spirits were up. He was not, And he goes, what happened in between, that and now? How did this happen so fast? So he looked up at it, and what happened was, this group of interns came into this hospital room, and they all got around his bed, and he said, well, this is Mr. Smith. He's got terminal cancer, and he's going to da-da-da-da, and he'll die any second. And as soon as this guy heard this, he died. And this happened to him, and he now thinks it should be against the law to tell somebody that it's that you're going to die. So it ain't for you, because there's people that have walked out, and these things are in his story. I'm not portraying his thing; these are his. But he's had people walk out of his office and said, "Nah, I ain't going to do this. I got too much to do. I got life to live." And he's seen him 10 years after that, and this person should have been dead a long time ago. And how does this happen? There's a percentage of people go in total remission real fast. And who's studying that? And that's his point. His point is, how can I study that when I got 99% of the other people are in this other paradigm, that somebody's got to take care of them. So, but yet, like I say again, in this time, this day and age, it's what we're doing here. Everybody's open. All us people here are pretty open to what's going on. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So there is information out there. Hi, sweetheart. Anybody else have any questions about anti-aging or anything like that?
Yeah, how much arginine do you take? What else?
Oh, well, what I take, I have, I actually have a lot of Chinese medicine because my wife is Chinese, and she's opened that wonderful path for me. And I have got some ginseng from Korea from a friend of mine who's over there, and I take deer antler, and I do a good multivitamin, exercise a lot, and I believe in cleansing the colon, quite a bit. That's a really good thing. Keeping the liver moving and cleansing the colon. I think your body can pretty much take care of a lot of other things that are happening. And I have some revitalizing formulas that I take.
Is there a significant difference between what you take and what your wife takes?
It's kind of like that. Some of the things we do, like the amino acids, we pretty much do the same thing. She's a lot less apt to take vitamins than I am, and she's like on a need basis, and I'm like that too. I mean, I'm very aware of my own body. If I put something in it doesn't like it, lets me know real quick, and I listen to that. I really listen to that. Food-wise, drink-wise, whatever. I do. My dad, who never been to the doctors, he's 77 now. And he's taking the Prosymbio Plus, which is the stacked aminos, like I said, with the Mucuna. And he had asthma. He has asthma. He was a craftsman toolmaker and worked in a foundry. So he would get all this slag in his lungs all the time, smoked all his life. Quit when he retired. So we did a show in New York City, and he can walk like a block, a city block with us without and he scared the hell out of me. He'd be like, up against the wall, and I can't do this. And I've had him on one of the products that we promote here, the Prosymbio Plus, which is the stacked amino with the Mucuna, and he now is completely different. I mean, he's watched Justin for a whole show, and it can be very rigorous, and went out and had a few beers with us after the show. And this guy's 77. Actually took him to the aircraft carrier to show him, in between the show, and he's like keeping up with me. He doesn't notice that. He wouldn't say, oh yeah, I feel much different. He doesn't think he feels it. See, that's a lot of things with us, and not used to listening too much. Because when you're from this perspective, you don't remember how it was over there, sometimes. So he's doing much better. And I guess that, there's a difference between what me and Kathy would take. And it just, progesterone-wise and things like that, natural creams that she uses and stuff like that, and just the male and female stuff. But generally, for general health, we pretty much do the same thing. Bouncing on the trampoline thing, I think that's one of the best forms of exercise I've found recently. It's very convenient, it's effective. You don't have to knock yourself out, and it seems to work. I mean, I feel much better when I do that cardiovascularly, and it's it's beats running because it doesn't nail my joints and everything. It moves the lymph, up and down. So I'm really glad that I got that situation. I've been doing that for a while now. So I like it. Yeah, small little round one of them things. And I seen this guy at the show while he's talking and bouncing at the same time. And when I first seen him, he wasn't like really buffed and cut. And then a couple of years we kept doing shows, and I kept bumping into him, and this guy's getting ripped, He's like, oh my head, this guy looks really good, You get that up, bouncing off of this thing? And so I said, give me 2 of these. I was going to try this. That looks pretty easy, It beats this, and somebody's screaming in here, come on, you're going to win. I said, I don't need that. I'm an ex-Marine. I left that back in Camp Pendleton. I don't need that. I like to get like 30 minutes for me is cool. If I can do 20 or 30 minutes with the phones ringing and Justin saying I want breakfast or something, I'm happy. You can't sit and bounce on this thing. You probably could. I'll retract that. I've seen the chairs. Yeah, the bouncing chairs. Yeah, they look. Yeah. Oh, they're very for especially people that have leg problems and they can't get around and stuff. I mean, it's a great exercise to get you back toned so you can do. Besides pulling bolts with his teeth when he's not doing that. Oh yeah, he's a great man. It's like these guys. There's another guy in here, 68 years old. I mean, there's guys now looking. I mean. They put all us young guys to shame, man. They look great, and it is. I mean, it's like being in a good place. Eat, of course, the eating right, this night, just balance. It's all balance to me. But like the amino acids, the new medical food type things. I mean, these things are coming out every day. Every day, this medical food, this new preparation for the nitrous oxide will purportedly rebuild the cells in the arteries, all kind of give elasticity back to the artery walls and everything, using, because the biggest problem with nitrous oxide was it was, putting too much pressure on the arterial system, and if you had like a rip in there or something, it would pop, and that's where people were getting, dying when they first came out with Viagra. But because of that, somebody said, hey, if it moves blood around like that, I mean, if it gets blood to the extremities, because that's how it works, if you give lesser doses and do it naturally, you got something pretty neat there. So I have some of that, not at this show, but I do have that, and I have access to that information. It's on the web. It's all on the web. Like I say, these things are coming out every day. So do we have anything else here, or are we all going, everybody's kind of quiet. Anybody else have any comments, questions? Anybody else have any good exercise devices they want to share with us? Yes? A rebounder? Yeah. All right. The trampoline, that's right. All right. Yes, sir.
Have you had any experience with fasting?
Once in my life, and I do, I go through stages myself, and sometimes I think eating is like a bore, but my body needs to process things, I guess. But I go through stages, I guess, and I do. Yeah, I do. There was a book called The Grape Cure by Johannes Bach, and when I first came out of the Marine Corps, I did that for a month, and I almost chewed off my arm. So I'm a meatitarian. Okay, I'm serious. I'm a B blood type, so I guess now that this new book's out, I'm okay. I'm cool. I mean, I got a hall pass, and but if I don't have that protein, I just don't feel right. And I did this thing, and I did not eat nothing, but I drank grape juice, and I ate grapes, and the things that came out of my body were just amazing. And it was a really tough thing to do for me. But after that month, I went and had like this huge porterhouse, and I jumped over, and I mean this, I jumped over my car. I came out of there, and it was jazzed me. I had like, whoa. It was incredible. All this protein all of a sudden, my body was clean now, and it was accepting all the vitamins, the proteins were just like, boom, and it was great. So yeah, fasting is really great. I think it's a very incredibly important thing to do every now and then. Huh?
There is a theory that it messes up the thyroid. The thyroid thinks it's going into a survival mode, and so it stops producing the active T3, T4, and a lot of times you can't get it to go back after you fast. It doesn't work.
I have a very strange, in my own personal life, before I went to Vietnam, I thought that food was a whole different thing than when I came back than what I thought it was. I didn't eat certain things before I went there. I was kind of picky. I did things by taste and cerebral and whatever and sugar and this and that, right? Well, in that situation when I was there, I ate whatever the hell was in front of me. If it was there, I ate it. I didn't care if it had dirt on it. I didn't care what. I didn't really care. And all I can tell you is I didn't know when I was going to eat next. I mean, there was no set, this is chow time, and stuff like that. And there was times where we went for quite some time without eating, and nobody cared because it was a whole different situation. It was a life and death tense thing, so you didn't think about it. It's like, oh, I want to go to McDonald's. It's like there was nothing going on. But I can tell you, I was never so healthy in my life. I could have chewed through that wall, and I was trained to do it. Serious. And I was that healthy. And I never knew what kind of food, and nobody told me. I mean, it's like, nobody prepared whatever they could get to us, we ate. Freeze-dried, whatever, throw water in it, eat it. If it was moving or not, done. So, sometimes I feel in this society we live in, we spoil ourselves too much because we're too much into the diet, because you can go into survival mode pretty quick. Natural disasters, new world orders, the new millennium, no matter what, things can happen really fast. And I always have that because unless I went through that experience, I wouldn't know that. things can happen real fast and change that. So we're hunters and gatherers, I guess it is, hunters first. And when that happens, it comes back real fast. You don't forget it. And the thyroid knows that because the brain knows it too. It may get confused. There might be a lot of theory behind that, psychologically, because we do live in this paradigm. We're creating our paradigm. We're no longer hunters and gatherers. We do that at Safeway and Fry's. That's where we hunt and gather. So, as long as we shut that off, that signal is not there anymore. So that might be true, But kick it in, it'll come back real fast. Hey, these guys on these street people, I mean, they eat things that move, man. And they probably, I said, how can if I touched that thing, I'd get some kind of disease. And these people are eating it, And they're not in the doctor's office every day. They're all curled up beside it, Give me a quart of. Yeah, it's like, what do? You try not to, my son, 5 years old, I'm like, oh my God, wash your hands, you just touched that shopping cart. I mean, what is a shopping cart? I mean, everybody goes there, driving around these carts, right? I mean, has anybody ever took a piece of tape off of one of them handles and analyzed it? I mean, it's just every germ in the universe is right there in that shopping cart. And you're picking up your tomatoes and kids are like blowing their nose and doing this all over the place, and and nobody cleans them things. Believe me, I swear to God, I want to put these mittens on them. Like, so I know what's on that thing. It's like.
Check out what George Carlin has to say about you. It's quite a few names.
I heard what he told somebody else to do. I forgot. I like the when he told him to get on the plane. He said, like hell, I'm getting in the plane. He's a good man. But I don't want to keep these guys too long. Anybody else have anything else to add or anything? Anything you want to? This has been quite a long impromptu thing. I don't know if these guys are packing up or something back there. They lost the. Mr. Raymond, do you have anything to add to that?
I think we go eat now.
Oh, one cool thing I do have. This lady has a lot of good information on it too. There's so many great waters right now. Water's like really important, and it's really cool. I mean, things are happening like real fast in a lot of different directions in there. And on that, I'm going to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you all, and I'll be right out there. And we do have a little. We're off now. We do have this little machine here that I'd like to invite you all to see and experience in the room 113. It's called IDM System 7. It's kind of neat. It's fun. It's a new thing. It's not medical, but it's a new technology thing that we have to play with right in the room now, and it's all set up and ready to run. So invite you over there to see it, and again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grenier. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are running around trying desperately to get everything back in one piece, in one shape, and moving in the correct direction. It is, as I'm sure you are all cognizant, about 20 minutes to 7. Mr. Anderson has been gracious enough to allow us a slight indenture to his allotted time slot. So what we're going to do, and I don't think this is too great a stretch of the imagination based on the last 45 minutes of people process we've seen here since announcing Mr. Grenier's impending presentation, is that I think a lot of people already went for their dinner break. I think another segment went for their dinner break and came back and have been trickling in, such as some of you here. And I think there is another segment that has not had dinner. Am I warm, probably, in that breakdown? I won't apply percentages, but I think we know that the ones who haven't eaten are probably in the minority. But we do have time constraint problems. So in order for Mr. Anderson to be able to complete his presentation, which is intriguing, fascinating, and somewhat lengthy compared to the hour-long presentations you have been seeing this afternoon, we are going to break for 35 minutes and begin Mr. Anderson's presentation at 7:15. So those of you that were going for the 6-course meal, knock it down to 1, or the fast food chain, and we again apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Thank you.